Okay, so about 10 minutes ago, I finished watching, actually not 10, 15. 15 minutes ago, I finished watching Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 4, The Last of the Starks, and here are my thoughts. Coming into this episode, I really don't know if I should have high hopes anymore because the last episode, The Battle of Winterfell, um, just felt a little disappointing. And I don't know what will happen to this episode, honestly. I really, really hope that David and Dan and all the other writers would bring something new, bring something intense, bring something fresh, bring something unexpected onto the table. But then at the same time, I kinda knew that this episode wouldn't be that eventful or anything. So yeah, the first half of this episode is a drag. I mean, the first scene is sad. People are mourning over the deaths after the last episode, the battle. And then after that, all the next like 6 and 7 scenes are basically them celebrating because they won the war. Yay! So they just keep on celebrating and celebrating and celebrating. People keep on talking. There's nothing important really happening. I think that a few scenes can be cut, like I don't know, the scene where Sansa and the Hound talks. I mean, they can talk, but like you can cut it short. Same goes for that game scene when Tyrion, uh, Pod, Jamie, and Brienne were playing. I think that scene could be cut short. And then after that, we have Brienne and Jamie love scene, and then after that, we also get Danny and John talking about yo like we're related actually and Danny was like, "Hey, can you keep that secret?" And John was like, "No, I gotta tell Arya and Sansa, like cuz we're family." That scene could be cut short as well. And then of course Gendry becomes the Lord of Storm's End. That's pretty cool. But when he asked Arya out, Arya was like, "Nah." Anyway, pretty uneventful beginning. And then the second half is a little more interesting. Yeah, this episode is probably the most interesting episode in the season so far. Doesn't mean that it's interesting as a whole, though, because there are still a lot of boring scenes. There's one scene when Danny's team, Danny's army, were going back to Dragonstone, and then all of a sudden, Euron's fleet came out of nowhere, shot some arrows at Rhaegal. Rhaegal straight up dies. That is surprising. And I actually like the scene, and I kind of like the idea that the writers had killed off all the dragons except for Drogon. In fact, I think Drogon will die in the last episode. I think Drogon will die, and then people later on will not believe in dragons once again and think that they're long extinct, while Danny just wrote them. Um, yeah, and then after that, Missandei was gone after Euron attacked them, and the Euron slash TP'd back to King's Landing with Missandei as a prisoner, a captive. And so Danny was real pissed off, Grey Worm was real pissed off, but Varys and Tyrion, they were like, yo, I know you're pissed off, but you can't destroy King's Landing because that's cruel. And I really love that. And also, Varys is supposed to die. I don't know when, though. Maybe this episode, maybe the next one. By this, I mean, like, episode 5. Because, when Melisandre told Varys one day that Varys was gonna die, so Varys now is on suicide watch. But yeah, other than that, I really look forward to Varys dying. I root for his character, but like, something sad is gonna happen. Which in this episode, episode 4, something sad really did happen. Missandei got her head chopped off, and it was Cersei. It was Cersei's idea, and that really sucks. That was sad. The last scene was pretty intense and pretty well written, to be honest. I just Tyrion was like being threatened. Cersei was still being a real bitch, and the whole thing was really intense. And then of course Missandei died, and then Daenerys, finally made the decision to go full on and burn King's Landing. And that may lead to some interesting scenes later on episodes 5 and 6. So overall, I think this episode could have been better. But it's not that bad. It's like one of those slow burner transitional episodes with a pretty intense and sad and somber ending. Um, yeah, I don't know where Arya and the Hound were going though. I really hope that they have something interesting to do. And Jamie also left Winterfell. I hope that Jamie kills Cersei, and I also hope that Daenerys dies, because she kind of had to. And also, I kind of hope that Jon Snow would, suddenly turn away from Daenerys and be all family and stuff. I really hope that. What else am I gonna say? Yes, Jon Snow didn't say a goodbye to Ghost, and that pissed a few fans off, but that's just a minor flaw, not like a huge uh, flaw or anything. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on this episode? Comment below. Thanks for watching. Oops, I forgot to give this episode a score. I think I'm gonna give it a decent 8. That's actually pretty high, pretty generous, because the production is really good. And because the episode just has so much potential for like something intense. Um, but yeah, I guess I kind of like it. I kind of like this episode a little more than the Long Night, but at the same time, not really, because the Long Night was a little more epic. So yeah, yeah. I just hope that David and Dan would really treat all these 6 episodes as 6 mini movies, cuz you know, we only have 6 episodes, man. So you got to make some really interesting plot points and really intense plot points, and not only focus on like 2 battles. Like you got to 6 episodes. If you use 4 of these episodes to build up to 2 battles, it's a waste. I just hope that there would be more twists and turns on the next 2 episodes.